This video is sponsored by Phoenix Feather. Use code LIFE5 to get 5% off of your next purchase. Phoenix Feather, more than a store. What's up everybody, welcome to the Life of a Board Gamer. My name is Daniel and welcome to the day 5 of reviewing games from creation publishers, creation designers. Everything about this is creation, so today we are talking about the game called Machines to the Sky. Machines to the Sky. This is a limited edition of the game. It has really like this dark art deco vibe going on. And there is also like a normal version, so the differences are really minor. But I'm going to show you this one because I have this one. Okay, so as I already showed you, artwork in this game is really fantastic looking artwork. So first of all, we are greeted with the rulebook that explains the game. Now I had few questions, but I asked the BGG, and internet, so I got my answers. But some explanations would be nice to have in this rulebook, but overall it's really okay rulebook. It explains the game really nicely. So each of the players will get one of these boards, and they are like thin, but this is not paper. This feels more like a plastic. So it's really nice. Even though it's thin, it really feels durable, and that will not be damaged or anything. So yeah, each of the players will get one of these playmats. And these playmats are double-sided and different because each side you have like a regular side, and on this side you have things a little bit different, for each of the players. So each of the players will get one of these playmats. There is going to be a playmat in here. I presume the playmats are the deluxe stuff in this game. So you are going to have this arc. Let me just move everything aside so I can show you how the game plays. And basically there is a bunch of tokens here, and you are going to randomly, you're going to pull from the bag, and you are going to randomly put 4 tokens on each of these spaces. And there is exactly tokens, and this one should not be here, it should be here, and this one also should not be here. I don't know how those end up in there, but yeah, you are basically going to have to put all these randomly in these places, and I will not put them all the way up because there's really no need for that. And there is also like these energy tokens that you're going to use throughout the game to get certain cards move around the board when I show you how the game works and everything. So yeah, you have a kind of setup of this, and you will also get a bunch of cubes in your color, which will help you bid for certain cards. There is a first player token, which is kind of sort of like a metal thing, and it's actually pretty worth one because it gives you like ability to play some cards that others can't until they take this from you, which is, I think, really nice idea of how to steal the token from the first player, because usually you need some incentive, stuff like that. So there is a bunch of cards in here. So these are all cards if you want to play a game solo, which I haven't played solo, so I don't know much about how these works, but these are all cards for solo play. And of course each of the players will get one of these explanation cards that tells you how the phases go, and explains you iconography a little bit, stuff like that. So each player will also get a character. You can play with this, you don't have to, it's really up to you, but I played with this from the start. Basically gives you something unique and different that only you can do, which is always awesome in my opinion when you have like different powers. Now these cards are really important. These blue cards are the cards that you are going to be able to play to change up things a little bit, but only if you have the first player token you can play these cards. You can own them, but you can't play them unless you stole the first player token from another player. And there's these cards which are events, and you can of course play with these or completely ignore them. They recommend you for the first game to not play with them, but I say you can. They will be harmless, but sometimes they will let you know that you have to prepare for something bad that's going to happen, so you have to like do the best you can. But the main goal of the game revolves around these cards, and these cards are what you're going to play in your sort of like tableau. So you are going to have this in front of yourself. Let me just move this one a little bit up here so I can show you how the cards are going to be played. So in this game you will have your playmat, and as long as the lane 3 and 2 are empty, you are going to get something from it in an income phase. But when it comes the phase of playing the game, the management phase, the management phase, let me just quickly check it out. Play cards to your player mat and move them. Yeah, of course. Then you will have some cards in your hand and you are going to play them on the board. Now you see that you have 4 lanes, and this arc actually also has 4 lanes, and you need to like set cards in these colors in the row, so you don't have to be in this exact position over here to be able to advance one space up. Once you advance, you can take one of these for extra scoring, or you don't have to, to make harder for other players to climb up this arc tree, so to say. And basically you are going to play cards. Let's say, for example, I somehow managed to play this one because it's 2, it goes in a lane 2, and this one maybe goes over here in a lane 3, and I have this let's find something else. So this goes in a lane 4 because it can't go anywhere else. And let's say I have this one that goes in lane 3, but I pay the cost, I pay the price to move it up to lane 1. And now I have, even though it's exactly, let's say for example it's like this, just to illustrate. So I have yellow, yellow, green, yellow, which means yellow, yellow, green, yellow, which means I have all the requirements to move up this track, which means this lane and this lane will score at least 3 points for me if I'm able to put some scoring cards in here. Now, some cards that have green on them are scoring cards. Blue cards are just cards that will give you something. In an income phase you will get 2 more workers, or this one, if you have at least 6 workers you get 3 energy. If you manage to in income phase get 6 workers, you will get some more energy. And once you cover this card, now this card is only worth, this one does nothing anymore, and this card is now what you are looking at when you are trying to find the ability that suits for income or for playing or for anything throughout the game. And the green ones are usually the cards that will score you some end game stuff and something like that, and they will always work. Even if you cover them, they will work. Doesn't matter with what you cover them, they will work. They will give you something. And so basically you are playing game, you are trying to climb these ranks, and by the end of the 10th round you are going to try to score the most points and be the winner. Now, how you get these cards is by this board over here. Basically, depending how many players is playing the game, let's say for example we are playing a 3-player game, you will have these cards and you will use your tokens, which are actually your workers, as I already mentioned. And you will bid. So let's say for example that I have 4 to bid, and let's say for example that green has 5 to bid, and red has, let's say, also 4. Now what you do in this game, you are bidding for these cards, to be played later in the game, and to win them you have to bid at least how much they are worth. This one is worth 3. That also means that this card can go in a lane 3 or 4. It can always go in a lane that number it shows and up. So card that shows 1 can go in any of these lanes, for example. And let's say for example, okay, so this gives me straight 1 point. I'm going to bid 1 for it. And let's say that red really likes it. He's going to bid 2 for it. The green doesn't care much about it, but the green really likes this 4, and he sees that we can't outbid him on that. So he can kind of think a little bit about it, but maybe he has lots of green cards right now set up which would give him +2 energy. And even though you need to bid 3, you can always bid more, so he bids 4. That way he can kind of secure that it's his, even though we can't outbid him, with 3 and 2, so that would be foolish. So he can just give 3, and that is that. Now, okay, of course, I could always put 3 like to block him, then he would just add 1. As long as the player doesn't say pass, you can add more bids on your board. So even though I was outbid by red, I can always maybe, for example, decide, listen, I want to battle for this card, I'm going to up the ante. And then they up the ante, and then I can just go like this and nobody gets it, Or I can put something like this over here. Even though it's 3, you can always put 1 just to reserve it, because At the end of the bidding, all the cards that were not bid on will be swept away and new cards will show up. So you can kind of keep it here for the next turn, maybe stuff like that. So yeah, in essence, you are building your deck and you are building it in front of yourself, with playing these cards in lanes, and you can manipulate these lanes. You can move cards left and right depending what you need. So for example, when you're going up this arc and now you need this white propeller sign and this green is kind of blocking it, and maybe you need propeller and green, so you can move this one over here, pay the cost, move it, and then you have like green, white, 2 greens, which means you need 1 more white. Maybe if you have it, maybe you bid on it if it's up here. Coincidentally, this one is up here. Maybe you bid on it, you can put it over here. Okay, you can't because it's lane 4. You need to put it here, then move it up here. Or you can just, leave it here. 2 white, 2 green, you can move on the next step on the arc. And by the end of the round 10, you hope you have the most points and be the winner. Now, I really like how this game works, in a sense, how your tableau is working. There is a little bit of interaction between players on this board over here, the main board where you are bidding. But overall, when you are playing in your area, you are just like battling with yourself, trying to figure out the best possible combination. And you can see all of these levels will be, exposed, so you know what the next level will offer. So you can play your cards in a way to help you, because there is 7 levels and 10 turns, which means 3 turns you don't maybe want to progress because you can't, but you really want to progress up this track, because this track allows you to score these 2 lanes more points than, because for example, if you manage to go up to maximum 12 points and this lane scores you 16 points, you will still just get 12. So you want to push this up as you can. And also when you go up the levels, you can take these tokens. That's like a double-edged sword, sort of. So you can take this token, maybe if you have in this lane scoring for yellow tokens, you can put it over here and it will score you for that card also. But you can also flip it on the other side and you can use it in an income phase to get 3 more workers to bid this turn, or 3 energy, because energy is really important in this game. But also you can leave it, because that means that other players will have harder time to progress, because when you remove it, then the other players just need 2 yellow and a green to progress on the next level. So kind of, trying to find the balance between helping other players to kind of catch up with you. Is it worth it? Will you score more points if you take this one, or you will be better than them if you leave them stranded, if you leave them trying to figure out how to climb, play all the cards, all the 4 cards, not just 3 or 2. Because when other players goes up, if you took the token and they take the token, then the 3rd player that tries to goes up only needs 2 yellow, which is probably very easy to do. Now the 4th one will only need like 1 yellow, which is probably what he's going to do. Luckily, you can only climb 1 time each turn, which means you are still kind of in advantage. But, trying to find that fine balance between taking tokens to score more points, or leave them there so others gets a little bit stranded. That's something I really liked in this game. Bidding is fair. Bidding is really cool, because if you bid on something and win it, you discard your workers. If you bid on something and don't win, you get your workers back, which is fine. Usually in the past, when I played bidding games, like I bid 5, I bid 6, but we both lose our bid, even though I didn't win anything. So you kind of fall behind. So yeah, this, as I said, is a deluxe version, a limited edition, but there is also like normal version with very few things are upgraded here. But still, it's a really, really cool game of combining. I was blown away how great this combining of the cards is. Climbing that arc, expecting the events, and these blue cards, I haven't even touched them. These blue cards can turn things around really nicely, and they do repeat from time to time. These are not all unique, but let's say, for example, this one says, in an income phase, you can discard an element token from a level on the arc track that still has 4 elements on it and gain 3 energy. So you can kind of discard the token that maybe bothers you because you can't win bid on yellow cards, and next level requires 2 yellows. You only have 1. You can remove that token, secure yourself to climb up this arc level, and still be able, to get something from it. You get 3 energy, which is really cool. I completely skipped the theme of the game. Theme of the game is that the world is falling apart, and we are building a arc, and we are called up as great builders, and we are called up to build the best arc possible to take humanity and find some new earth to live on, because this one is gone, sort of. We know it's going to go away, and yeah, the art deco style of the cards, of the rulebook components, everything looks really cool. The back of the cards, really nicely done. Artwork is absolutely gorgeous. I like the style of this. It really reminiscence like 1930s, I think. So yeah, that was Machines to the Sky. Really cool game. Do check it out. And yeah, that is that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for spending all your precious time with me. And do support me on Patreon if you are able. It helps this channel grow, better equipment, better videos, better everything, more giveaways, all of that, because everything I earn there, I just pour back into the channel, so you have better experience spending your time with me. And yeah, that is that. Until next time. Pozdrav.